Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good Memorial Day weekend. I wanted to just talk to you about a couple of things since we are not meeting for class tomorrow night. It is week 4, so congratulations, we've made it this far. Week 4, I want you to pay attention here to the learning activities. They're all about writing, and one of the assessments that you are supposed to get from your tutee is a writing sample. Now remember I mentioned this doesn't necessarily have to be a writing assignment that you do together. It could be something that they have already done. Maybe they did it in school, maybe it's for homework. And the beefier the writing, the better, because you are assessing the 6 traits. And normally we would talk about that during week 4. So what I really encourage you to do is spend some time going through the week 4 learning activities to really get an idea on how to support your English learner tutee with writing. Okay, and remember, and we'll look there in a little bit, but in the tutoring folder, in the assessment tab, you will find the 6 trait writing rubric, and that's what you're using to assess your students' writing. And from there, you can discover the strengths and the weaknesses and what you might want to set a goal for. I also want to encourage you to look beyond spelling. Usually when we analyze a writing piece, the first thing that sticks out is how poor the spelling is. Well, many of us are working with students that are working below grade level. They're English learners. Their spelling is not going to be that great. But spelling isn't necessarily a writing issue in regards to content. Let's focus more on content of writing. How is their sentence structure? How is their organization, their word choice? Do they have voice? So let's look beyond spelling, because spelling is developmental. They'll constantly be getting phonics and decoding and spelling in other areas, but let's focus on something besides spelling for now. All right, let's see what else is going on in week 4. Your journal has to do with writing. I think this week's chapter in our textbook will be helpful. And then, ooh, this is a cool video. I think you'll like this one for the discussion. You have the last bit of your RICA slides. So now we're doing informational text. Yes, you have to resubmit the link each week. So even if you finish them all during that first week, I only graded that 1 week, so please submit the link each week so that I know, it kind of signals to me to go ahead and grade it. And then the other assignment is your tutee background and action plan. Many of you who were in 520, which is I think most of you, did this in 520. It's very similar, just a little different. Obviously the assessment data is different. So this time, what did you learn from starting that EL interview process with them? What have you learned about their culture, about their feelings about English, about learning English, their understanding of where they fit here? Okay, what did you learn about that? What does it tell you? And then how will this impact your tutoring? So the actions you will take. And then interest inventory has to do with, well, just that, their interests. What did you learn? And then there's a place here for writing record data and the writing sample data. And so you'll include information on both and then talk about how that will impact your planning for lessons. And then the most important part is down here, your tutoring goals. I think no more than 2 goals is fine. And think about being specific here, okay? You only have really 7 meetings with this student, 5 of which are really the meat of teaching. So don't go so big. Don't try to get the student to write a paragraph if they're only writing a sentence. Don't get them to, and you can't say things that are broad, like, oh, we'll improve their fluency. Well, what's a specific goal? How will you measure that? What will that look like? Maybe they will improve by 5 words per minute. Maybe their prosody, you know, in that in the running records document in the beginning, there's a prosody rubric. Maybe they go from whatever level they started at to the next level. They will go from a 2 to a 3 in the prosody rubric. Maybe they will learn how to read with through punctuation rather than reading straight through it. So come up with a specific measurable goal. Maybe they will write a sentence that includes an adjective. I don't know, whatever it is. But make it something that is hopefully attainable in that short amount of time, and make it something that you can say, okay, well, what will that look like? And do you have a picture of that? So it needs to be specific. Okay, don't try to cover a big, huge topic. I will grade these as soon as I can, you know, once you turn them in, so that you can get feedback on that. All right. This is my Pinterest. We're getting there. Hold on. I want to bring us over to the tutoring project folder. This one right here on the left. There's a couple things I want to bring your attention to. Obviously right there is your action plan, but once you set those goals, I want to let you know that this folder is here. Where is it? Tutoring lesson resources. This one right here. It will give you some suggestions on where to find ideas on teaching. So say you filled out your action plan and you realize, okay, my student needs help with long vowel patterns, or they need help with inflected endings, which are like the ing, the ed, or they need fluency help. How do I do it? How do I teach comprehension? What kinds of lessons should I do for fluency? This is the resource that you go to. There's a couple in particular I want to bring your attention to. The first one is this Florida Center for Reading Research. If you click on that, it'll bring you here. And you can just click on one of these. It's K1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 4 or 5 and see what's there. And you have to kind of scroll all the way down. But then you'll get activities. So look at, there's activities for fluency. If your 5th grader has trouble with the parts of the words, or the words, the phrasing, the chunk text, you can pick on one of those and see if any of these activities work for you. What I like about it is that it explains it in like a little lesson plan form, but then it has everything that you'll need to go with it. See, it has all the materials. So you can print this out, and it's a very interactive lesson. Tells you exactly what to do. There's some fluency passages with the lines that they're going to have you practice. Okay, so lots of ideas here. Let me click on another one. Vocabulary, ooh, comprehension. So maybe they're having trouble just understanding literal comprehension. Maybe you asked them what happened in the running record and they had no idea. So this is just a very basic. The student will describe characters. Okay, so lots of ideas here to use with your 2T. I really like this site. If you find that those are too hard, you can go back down to the 2nd or 3rd, kindergarten 1 even. But these are some great activities for you. The other couple other places I want to look at, Article a Day and Newsella are both good. So let's take a look at it. Article a Day is interesting, and I've had these sites on here a long time, and it changes every year as to what's free and what's not. With both of them, you do have to sign in for an account, but I think it's worth it. It's just free for the account. And then when you sign in and you have reading works, it tells you how to do it. How would you do this in your classroom? And I like this idea. So if you're already teaching, definitely take a look at this and see if this is something your students could benefit from. It's something that's done every day, and its main goal is to build background knowledge and vocabulary. Okay, so once you understand kind of how it works, you click on one of these blue tabs and it brings you to the articles. And the idea is that you read an article a day, and it's supposed to build your background knowledge, your vocabulary, and you can pick from all kinds of topics, grade levels. Let's just pick storms. And there's so many things you can do with this with your 2T. You can print out the article. You can just have them read it. I like to make it bigger on here. So this is a very basic one. There's only a few, and if your student is struggling with comprehension, this might be a good one to start with. And then let's look at some other ones. How thunderstorms form. So this is like for 3rd grade. You can see they're different levels. But I think these are great to use. They're high interest, and they'll help with comprehension if they're struggling with vocabulary. And the idea behind it is that every day they read one of these, and then they fill out a book of knowledge. And you can use this part of it or not in your tutoring session, depending on if it applies. It just says, please write 2 or 3 things that you have learned from the article that you want to remember. That's it. That's what those students are supposed to do every day. So look through the different passages, look through the levels. They are Lexile level. And if you're not sure what Lexile level your student is at, just Google Lexile level, grade level comparison chart, and you'll see. There's also a little grade level there. Do you see, like right here it says K? So that's for that's for kinder. There's a 6th grade one, 4th grade, but it's still helpful to know what those Lexile levels are. So this is free again, and there's lots of resources for you to use. The other one I really like is Newsela. This one has kind of made me angry a little bit because they keep charging for the cool features, and they keep pushing you to pay, which obviously they have to make money, but it annoys me. So Newsela is really cool because it's current events and it's leveled texts. So what you can do is kind of just browse through this. So say I want to learn about the Bobblehead Museum. And current events is nice because you can turn it into a writing assignment if you have a writing goal with your 2T. You can read these passages and the other one too, the article a day passages, over and over and over again to practice a fluency goal. But hopefully you can find things that your students are interested in. So I want you to notice this says max right here. Max means this is the max level, reading level, that this article is written in. Okay, so if your student is into bobbleheads, by all means, but say this is too hard. You can change the Lexile level. So we can go all the way down to 430. And it's the same topic, but it's a simpler version. And so the words are not as difficult. So that's really cool. All that create an assignment, all that is things that they want to charge you for. But if you go up here, news, you can find if your student is really into sports. You can find some current event articles on sports. And you can narrow it down, lower elementary, upper elementary. And just kind of find some really cool, high interest, low level reading passages that will engage your student. You can work on fluency, comprehension, and writing with these articles. If you bring your laptop, they can just read off the laptop, or I think you can print these out as well. If you wanted to print, yeah, you can print this out. You can make it full screen. You can change the level. So play around with this site. I think you'll find lots of things that you can do for your tutoring sessions. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you, and this is kind of my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. Pinterest. If you don't have a Pinterest account and you're going into teaching, you need to, because it's amazing. So say I have my free Pinterest account, I go into a search, I'm doing a fluency goal. So I type in fluency activities. And I can find all of these. Okay, 5 ways to build fluency, and you click on them and you get more information. I like this. So fluency tic-tac-toe, this is a way to read something multiple times but keep it engaging. You'll see that sometimes it'll send you to teacher pay teacher and want to charge you for it. But hello, you can just make one of these, right? So I wouldn't spend your money on teachers pay teachers, but get the ideas here and then kind of create your own. There's so many good ideas. So if you want to work on silent E, it just gives you lots and lots of things to do with silent E. On the same token, teacher pay teachers is good. Teachers pay teachers. And I'll show you a little trick to not spend money. And sometimes it's worth it to spend money. Honestly, if I'm looking for something specific for my classroom and somebody else has already done it and it saves me a ton of time, I'm going to do it. So let's type in fluency games. Let's do that. And I'm going to type in about 3rd grade. And you don't have to pick a grade, but it might narrow things down for you. Computer's just being slow. And then you scroll down and go to free. Holla, right? And then you get all the free things. You do, again, have to have an account in order to download even the free items, but getting an account is free. This is a fun one. I've seen this on Pinterest. So you roll a dice and they have to kind of read those as fast as they can. Just builds that sight word fluency. So there's lots of ideas here. So I just wanted to give you some suggestions on how to find activities for your tutoring sessions. The last thing I want to remind you is that you should be doing your lesson plans throughout. Using this lesson plan template, please type. I'll say that again. Type out your lesson plans. Do not handwrite them. But also don't wait until week 7 to write all the lesson plans. You want to write your lesson plan, teach the lesson. Write your lesson plan, teach the lesson. I also don't recommend writing all the lesson plans at once, because notice on the bottom here you reflect, and there are so many times that you kind of change and switch gears based on the response of your tutee. Maybe it was too hard for them, maybe it was way too easy for them, maybe it just didn't go well. So you don't want to plan all the lessons out all at once, because there's just too many parts that could change. Okay, and you remember you have to turn in 5 lesson plans in week 7. So you still have plenty of time. I know school is winding down, so some of you have already gotten a head start on this, but do write these out along the way, or type these out along the way. You don't want to just make it busy work at the end. You really want to use it to learn and grow as a teacher. All right, I think I've covered everything I want to cover. Just a reminder again, especially since you're doing the tutoring action plan, if you are not 100% sure how to submit Google Docs and Blackboard, please watch this tutorial. It's under the course information tab. The 2 big takeaways is you don't want to upload a Google Doc in Blackboard. You just want to copy the link. And you also don't want to have to put my email in to invite me. You just change the share settings so that anyone with Brandman can view. And then I'll be able to see it and I don't get an email. Okay? So take a look at that video just to clarify any misunderstandings. All right, I hope you guys have a fantastic Memorial Day, and I will see you the following Monday. And I just want to say one more thing. In 523, which is the social studies visual performing arts class, some of you are taking it right now, some of you will take it in the fall, but you have to do a flipped video. It's kind of like this, where I used Screencast-O-Matic to record my voice and my screen, except you guys will have the little webcam on in the corner. And you just talk through your lesson. You'll talk through your Prezi or your slide presentation. It's the same thing. So just kind of give you a heads up on this is what you should end up with. All right, have a great week. I'll upload this and put it in the announcement section. Take care.